Contrail, chemtrail, contrail, chemtrail. For me, I'm just a chemtard, right? Or a chemtard, conspiratard. How about educatard? Or something to that effect.
Megan, who's actually a U.S. military whistleblower. She has an amazing, fascinating story that we will share with you here today. Now, Kristen, can you tell us what branch of the military you were in and what you uncovered?
Sure. I was in the Air Force on active duty for 9 years, and I worked in bioenvironmental engineering.
And now, I know the issue came up with chemtrails. I know that's an extremely controversial issue. A lot of people are extremely divided on this issue, but you actually saw things from your experiences that kind of give it a little bit more validity than I actually saw ever before. Can you go into the details of exactly what you saw?
Yeah, basically to summarize it, part of my job was to know everything that was going on in the military and what type of impact that might have on human health, and then the environmental aspects and impacts. What chemicals are we using? How are we disposing of it? Kind of cradle to grave. So we were the internal compliance people for following OSHA and EPA standards. One part of that process was to approve chemicals, hazardous materials. What are you using? Why do you need it? Where's it being used? And tracking that disposal. After it being brought to my attention about chemtrails or geoengineering, I used to think it was crazy. It actually was disrespectful to my line of work, because here we are trying to prevent environmental aspects and impacts and not have anybody get sick from our operations. But in an attempt to debunk, it changed my life. I started noticing things. I started noticing large quantities on the system where I would approve chemicals that did not have a manufacturer name, wasn't tied to a building, and that was normal protocol. When I started asking questions, I slowly became demonized. A couple years passed after that. When I asked again and people realized I was kind of being more vocal about it on social media, I was starting to be thrown into a mental institution and have my daughter taken away. That changed my life. I no longer view the military the same way, and I feel like after 9 years of trying to uphold an oath, I'm able to do that now.
And so you uncovered a lot of these hidden chemicals. Where's the connection with the chemtrails?
Well, the connection is, at first, when I saw these large quantities of aluminum, barium, strontium oxides and sulfates, I thought, well, this could be for an industrialized process, for something called shot peening or, bead blasting, things that you see in kind of the automotive industry. Except those were all be accounted for. I already knew how much was used for those processes. It was a little type of different constituent. And the first thing I did, part of my job was to sample air, soil, and water. So that's what I did. I air sampled the soil, the air, and the water. And due to my profession, I know at which levels or limits of detection you need to check that at. And the amount of pollution that was in my area, and this is tests I did in Oklahoma, in Georgia, in Chicago, where I'm now. But in taking those samples, I knew the background, because a lot of these things are naturally occurring in elemental, but not in this form and not in this quantity. So how did it get there?
So just to clarify, you see these huge storage containers of these chemicals, then you do the test on the air and soil, and you see these same chemicals in the air and soil now. And that's pretty much been the main evidence I've seen people who are for chemtrails use, is saying, look at the soil, look at the water, look at all the chemicals in there. And now you're finally the person who's like, wait, I worked in the military, I saw a bunch of these chemicals there. That's crazy.
It is crazy. I used to think it was crazy, and everyone asks why are there no pictures.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see you try to take a picture inside of a restricted air hangar, because you'll have an M16 in your back. Yeah. And the hardest part for people to realize is, where are the pilots? Like, there's people who have come forward, but these people are scared. You look at what's happened to whistleblowers, look at Snowden, look at Manning. People are scared. And I think because this topic is already labeled a conspiracy theory, I don't think the government necessarily views me as a threat yet. And, I know it's not the most safe thing to do, but it's the right thing to do.
It's laughed at. It's made obscure. But just to bring the point home, the question I have is, why are they even chemtrailing? Why is the military and government chemtrailing us? I don't know. What's your understanding of it?
Well, I don't have anything that can solidify, but I do have my opinions, and that is the history of weather weaponry. I mean, you can take away people's monetary system, you can take away people's rights, but you take their food and you disable their ecosystem, that's the number one way to handicap people. And they've done it since the 40s. It's not new. Also seeing how it started out to be a government program, and then noticing that it is a way for private corporations to profit off this, whether it's controlling agriculture, profiting. There's certain events, you lose money on if it rains, so knowing that you can kind of predict and control the weather, there's money there. I've also, heard it could be tied to Agenda 21, but for me, it's not about why. It's just stopping it. It needs to be stopped.
Yeah, and it's called the crazy-ass conspiracy theory. The Chinese are doing it now, openly. They did it for the Olympics.
I mean, they've sprayed people. I'm sure you've heard the St. Louis story. They did biological testing. So if the government is capable of doing that, why is it so hard for people to believe? And I don't know if you've heard about David Keith, but he's actually a geoengineer, Canadian. He works at Harvard. He just wrote a new book on climate engineering. And inadvertently, he's brought more awareness to this because I feel they're getting ready to admit it. And they're trying to sell it to us. You know, it's kind of like they sell vaccines to us. They sell fluoride to us. You know, fluoride is a mining waste product. Well, how can we make that good? You know, put it in your water. So I think that they're trying to now kind of admit it and act like they're going to start doing it. And they've already been doing it.
So where's the fight taking you? What's next?
Well, my biggest issue that I have been tackling is to wake up other people in my profession. I worked for the federal government for 12 years, and it is my line of work. We are the ones that should be going out there calling people out. What is this? I mean, you can't work in my field, which is industrial hygiene. I'm an industrial hygienist and an environmental specialist. So how can you overlook this? You cannot deny the evidence. Just do your own testing. It's even gone so far to where labs stopped running these samples because I think there's pressure on them. So there's only a few labs actually now that we use, but it's just getting other people who have, you know, the average person, it's great, you know, get excited at your local level, but it's the people that are supposed to be enforcing this on a legal aspect that I've been trying to wake up.
Where can people find out more about you?
Well, follow me on Twitter because my website is, I had to, actually got hacked, so I'm relaunching it. Just follow me at Kristen Megan, KRISTNMEGHAN. Pardon me. But I suggest that you go to geoengineeringwatch.org, pardon me, chemtrails, because that is the most reputable site. There's a lot of disinformation sites, so that's the best way to get information. And just follow me on Twitter is probably the number one way to reach me.
You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Happening already. You ever look at those planes up there? They have contrails behind them. Maybe all those planes with the contrails, maybe they're actually spraying chemicals into the atmosphere right now, and Uncle Sam isn't telling us.
Seems extremely unlikely.
The fact that the United States is not telling something to its citizens, that seems extremely likely to me. Mr. Keith, Dr. Keith, what do you got? What are you calling you?
I'm here with Mr.
Mr. Keith. Okay, all right. Now you got a little book here called "A Case for Climate Engineering." How will we save the planet? Because all the people, all the Chicken Littles out there are saying the planet is warming up. You don't believe that, do you?
I totally believe it. It is warming up, and I've been thinking about, along with many other people, ways to stop it.
Okay. Does it involve me using one of those little pigtail light bulbs?
That is a useful thing to do, and I have those in my house, but I'm thinking about something else.
Okay, good. What's the other thing? Because I'd like to do anything other than that.
Exactly.
Okay, so what do we do?
So the other thing is horrifying. It is that you could actually spray sulfuric acid into the stratosphere 20 kilometers over our head and use that to stop the planet warming up in a kind of ugly tech fix.
You could spray something into the atmosphere to
Spray pollution into the atmosphere to stop it warming.
So in the end, pollution saves them all. We owe pollution. We owe acid rain an apology, is what you're saying.
A totally imperfect technical fix.
Okay.
It would have risks. It wouldn't get us out of the long-run need to stop polluting, but it might actually save people and be useful.
Okay, so how, again, I interrupt you slightly there. How does it work? How many planes are we talking about here? How do you do this?
So let's say you wanted to stop it warming in 2020. You'd start with a fleet of just 2 or 3 kind of modified business jets.
What kind of like a G6?
Yeah, like a G650.
Like a G6.
That's
like
it.
A G6.
And you put, say, 20,000 tons of sulfuric acid into the stratosphere every year, and each year you have to put a little more, and this doesn't, in the long run, mean that you can forget about cutting emissions. We will need to rein in
No,
emissions.
we'll get to it eventually.
But it
But in the
does.
meantime, we're shrouding the earth in sulfuric acid.
So people are terrified about talking about this because they're scared that it will prevent us cutting emissions.
Right, and also that it's sulfuric acid. They're bearing the lead. Is there any possible way this could come back to bite us in the ass? Blanketing the earth in sulfuric acid, because I'm all for it. This is the all-chocolate dinner. I still get to have my CO2, and I just need to spray sulfuric acid
Right?
all over the earth.
Right question. But we put dioxide in the air now as pollution, and it kills 1 million people a year worldwide.
Okay, and that's
So
good or bad?
It's terrible.
But it would be better if we put more in.
We're talking about 1% of that, a tiny fraction of that. So we should reduce that sulfuric
So
acid.
if it kills 1 million people and
It's
we're only
bad.
doing 1% more, we're just killing 10,000 more people.
You could do math,
Okay.
but that's so killing people is not the objective here.
Killing people, not the objective.
Objective-
I just wanted to be
objective is
clear. I just wanted to be clear.
Actually
All right.
slowing
All right.
climate change, actually
Okay.
stopping climate change in a way that could help people this generation, people living now, in a way there's no other easy alternative.
Can you just do it for part of the planet?
Pretty much the whole planet.
No, but could you? Could you just, like, say, just make things better for the United States?
Very hard to do. It seems that this is mostly global. But the big fear is that one country will want it one way and one the other, like two frat boys arguing over the thermostat. And in many ways, the biggest fear here, well, we have no idea how to actually agree about how to control the planet's thermostat.
So let's say the United States and China say, yeah, let's do it. But Russia and India say, yeah, not do it.
This is the kind of stuff I wake up sweating about. Exactly.
Well, it's your goddamn idea.
No, it actually turns out to be an old idea. This was
Really?
known since President Johnson. And the scientific community mostly decided not to talk about it for fear that people would then lose the threat of cutting emissions.
Now, what happens to the sulfuric acid after it's sprayed? Does it just stay up there?
No, it rains down.
Okay.
But as I said, it rains down.
Okay.
It's a tiny addition to what we're already doing.
Have you gotten some grief for suggesting this?
Sure, I mean, this is like writing a book as the case for leprosy. But
Do you have one of those? Is that next? Yeah, it's a great weight loss plan.
But also, many people are happy that people are finally talking about this because while it is ugly, it does appear that it really could do some good.
Could an individual start this?
In practice, only a country. A big
Okay.
country.
What about a man in like a hollowed out volcano with henchmen who occasionally shakes his fist at the sky and says, "They said I was a fool at Harvard. Who's the fool now?" Shake your fist and say the fools.
It's the natural worry, but I think in the end, no. This would be done by major countries, but the problem is how countries agree about where to set the thermostat, who decides, and my biggest reason for writing the book and for talking about it is my view that we won't make good decisions in ignorance.
So we have to make this. We have to have the discussion now, so that when it becomes our last hope, people can say, "Hey, we talked about this. Remember, we said we get to do it."
The worst way to make decisions about this would be if we all agree that we won't talk about it in polite society, we suppress it, which is basically what had been happening, and then in 2030, suddenly in a crisis, we make fast decisions.
Maybe it's happening already. You ever look at those planes up there? They have contrails behind them. Maybe all those planes with the contrails, maybe they're actually spraying chemicals into the atmosphere right now, and Uncle Sam isn't telling us.
Seems extremely unlikely.
The fact that the United States is not telling something to its citizens, that seems extremely likely to me. I think they might have your idea already. Dr. Mister, thank you so much. David Keith, A Case for Climate Engineering. We'll be right back.
Okay, so go ahead and laugh at me if you want to and call me a chemtard, but this is the Google Doodle from December the 8th, and as you can see it's about photosynthesis, which is ironic since their cure for global warming, which is a lie, is solar radiation management. And photosynthesis says blocking the sun out isn't going to help cut down any of the emissions. So just call me a conspiratard. But just know, while you're laughing at me, the government and Google are laughing at you. Here is a few pieces of a PDF that I got, and I'll try to put it the link in the description. But it's solid proof that the Air Force is the one that came up with the chemtrail. The whole conspiracy theorists did not come up with the chemtrails. It came up from the government. Like I said, I'll try to drop the link in the description. I just kind of tried to hit a few spots I thought were interesting words for the people that might not want to look at the PDF. It's almost 300 pages. Also, I wanted to take time to say a lot of people talk about chemtrails or trying to wake other people up. I'm going to drop a link in the description. It's a place that you can discuss or voice your concerns about the solar radiation management. I know that it's multifaceted and that's not the only thing, and that's not just our government that's doing it, but it's my attempt at a solution instead of just bitching about the chemtrails. There is a solution. We are the people, and we have the power if we can just unite, which is beyond impossible. But greater is he that is in me than he that is in this world. And on the solar radiation management thing that I looked at, the highest form of reflectivity is snow. So that kind of should ring some bells if you're not already convinced about the chemtrails. The entire, from Texas all the way up to New York, getting this snow, and people need to wake up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'm going to drop the links in the description for the discussion for the solar radiation management, as well as the PDF if you're interested. But like I said, please like, share, and subscribe. And please stay tuned for more.